All right, let's talk about a flavor you absolutely know and love, even if you don't know its name. It's a taste that literally transformed cooking all over the world. But to get there, I need to ask you something first.
Think back to grade school science class for a second. How many tastes did they tell you your tongue could detect? For most of us, we learned about the 4 basic building blocks of flavor.
Right, you've got the big 4: sweet, sour, salty, and bitter. We all know those. But for centuries, there was this other taste, that rich, savory, deeply satisfying quality you get from a great broth or a perfectly aged piece of cheese. That remained a complete mystery. And that mystery is where our story really begins. It's about one scientist whose intense curiosity would change food science forever. And believe it or not, it all started when he asked a simple question about his wife's soup. So this is Professor Kikunae Ikeda. He was on a mission. After studying in Germany, he was really struck by how robust and healthy the people were, and he wanted to improve the nutrition of people back in Japan. And this mission is what led to that aha moment in 1907. He was tasting his wife's simple kombu seaweed broth, and it just hit him. This flavor was something else entirely. He knew right then and there it wasn't sweet, sour, salty, or bitter. It was its own thing, so he had to give it a name. He took the Japanese word for deliciousness, which is umai, and he coined a new term, umami.
Okay, so naming it is one thing, but proving it to the entire scientific world, that's a whole different ballgame. He couldn't just say, hey, I found a new taste. He had to prove it scientifically. He had to isolate its exact chemical source. And his process was just incredible. He started with a huge amount of kombu seaweed and painstakingly worked to extract that single key component. And he did it. He ended up with a pure, stable crystal. Think about that. He didn't just discover a taste. He invented a way to bottle it. The guy was later named one of Japan's 10 great inventors for a reason.
And get this, the story didn't even stop there. It turns out that key ingredient, glutamate, wasn't alone. Other scientists got inspired, and pretty soon they started finding other umami compounds in totally different foods. It was like a whole umami family was being discovered. What's so cool about this is that the science finally explained the foundations of traditional Japanese cooking. Chefs had been using ingredients like these for centuries. They knew they created this incredible depth of flavor, they just didn't know the chemistry behind it. Now, in Japan, this discovery was a sensation, a total game changer. But for the rest of the world, well, it took decades for them to catch up. I mean, think about it. Telling the established scientific community you found a 5th basic taste is a pretty monumental claim. You have to fast forward all the way to 1985. Yeah, nearly 80 years after Ikeda's discovery, at the first ever Umami International Symposium, the scientific world finally made it official. And just like that, the Japanese word umami officially became a scientific term, known all around the world. It joined the ranks of other words we all know, like sushi or karate. The 5th taste finally had its name on the global stage. But here is a fascinating little wrinkle. Even though we all use the word now, how we think about it can be pretty different. In the West, it's often framed as this new thing, this hidden 5th taste. But in Japan, it's always just been a fundamental concept. It's not a new component, it's the very depth of flavor that makes a dish feel complete. So that's the history, but what does this 100-year-old discovery mean for us today in our own kitchens? Well, it turns out you're probably eating a lot more umami than you even realize. You see, that umami seasoning Dr. Ikeda invented isn't extracted from mountains of seaweed anymore. Today, it's made through a completely natural process, fermentation. They use things like sugarcane and corn, and it's basically the same kind of process that gives us things like yogurt, bread, and soy sauce. And we need to clear something up. For years, MSG got a really bad rap with all the talk about Chinese restaurant syndrome. But the science on this is crystal clear. Rigorous double-blind studies have found no link whatsoever. That's why major global authorities, from the FDA in the US to the World Health Organization, all recognize it as safe. But umami isn't just about being a delicious taste all by itself. It has this incredible secret power. Synergy. Seriously, this is where the real magic happens. It's a secret that master chefs and Japanese grandmothers have understood for generations. Here's how it works. When you combine different umami compounds, like the glutamate from kombu and the inosinic from bonito flakes, the flavor doesn't just add up, it multiplies. You get this flavor explosion that's way more intense than either ingredient could ever be on its own. This is the whole principle behind a traditional dashi bath, and it lets us create these deeply satisfying dishes with way less salt. So now that you know the science, you'll start noticing it everywhere. In the Parmesan cheese on your pasta, in a sun-dried tomato, in a rich mushroom soup. The discovery of umami didn't just add a new taste to our list, it gave us a whole new language to describe deliciousness. So I have to ask you, what's your absolute favorite umami-rich food? Let us know in the comments.